The spirit of death, divine revelation, how the death spirit operates. The death spirit is a tormenting spirit. The death spirit knows no age. The spirit is a thief. This spirit is a destroyer. The death spirit takes control through assigning certain sins to people. The death spirit to sin is like a mother. It dishes out the sin to follow a person. Then it follows behind that sin. It follows behind the sin as an accelerant, nurturing the sin and giving it all nutrients needed for it to grow. There are ways the death spirit operates. Revelation number 1. The death spirit can strike from the period of birth as follows. From the time the child is conceived or born, the death spirit peddles or pushes a sin to follow the newborn, in this case, an innocent person. As this innocent person grows, this particular sin also grows with them. This sin follows to lead or to control someone with the intention to kill. The sin achieves this by tormenting the person in particular. Under this topic, the topic of the spirit of death, sin is driven by the death spirit itself in the first place. The job of the sin that is driven by the spirit of death is to steal life from a person in a progressive manner up to such a point that the spirit of death finds it easy to take over and eventually physically finish off the person, as in physical death. And sometimes spiritual death. The death spirit tends to take the person deeper and deeper into the very sin before it strikes and kills the tormented person. How far the spirit of death takes this person in terms of lifespan, in terms of torture, torment, or through sin, depends on how much torture, as in torment levels, this spirit of death intends to exert, exercise, or force on the person it is following. All the while from birth, while the focus of the death spirit on a person that it is following is the length of time it wants to keep that person alive, as opposed to the person's actual lifespan and destiny and achievements. And also how far, how deep it wants to torment, wound, injure, or torture the person. This kind of death spirit can kill from conception or birth. The death spirit, the one that strikes not in God's time, if it follows someone from birth, it can kill any time, even from birth or in the womb. The death spirit's mission is to steal and destroy. This spirit can kill the baby or the mother or even both. As we said, in this instance, where the spirit decides to torture someone as they grow, the death spirit has a nurturing characteristic in that it nurtures the sin that it is driving to follow the person in question. This is how the sin tends to grow as this person grows. The sin grows as the spirit of death acts as an accelerant of the sin. When sin is functioning with the spirit of death, the result is poison. The sin becomes toxic or destructive in nature. For example, if we talk about drug peddling or drug abuse, in the case of a person followed by the spirit of death, whenever they abuse drugs, the level of torment on their whole person is 10 to 30 times more on the torment scale, or according to torment levels. Like we said, when a sin is functioning in conjunction with the spirit of death, the sin becomes not just sin, but highly toxic and poisonous sin. while the others who do not have the spirit of death following them can afford to take the same amount of drugs. The torment effect or level is little and sometimes barely detectable or showing, or can easily be stopped when one decides to give up the practice. But the torment level on the person taking the same drug but being followed by the spirit of death, the torture level is way out of the ordinary. The torment level on the person when they abuse the same drug in the same way is high and becomes a matter of concern, not only to the people around them, but also to the person with the habit. This is because the spirit of death following the person has a sin-nurturing characteristic, like sin fertilizer.